But Cleveland Charge picked up a big win last night in College Park. They are 11-5 on the season. They scored 156 points last night in regulation. They put
old Denver Nuggets basketball
on the College Park, whatever team they are in College Park. They're home this Saturday and Friday, Friday and Saturday against the Greensboro Swarm. Saturday is their Special Olympics night presented by Cleveland Cliffs. They're wearing special Polar Plunge uniforms. I'll be there on Saturday. Hope to see you there on Saturday. You can get your tickets at clevelandcharge.com. Both, the floor is yours. Set up the Jim Schwartz topic.
All right, so we had this.
Tyvis
got it started.
lit the wick.
I'm trying to find the text. When was this? This was 2 days ago?
It was the day before I came in.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Poor Dustin was out to dinner and
yeah.
came home with 75 texts.
I won't read word for word. 'Cause some of the language is not appropriate. But Tyvis started this by saying, here's the thing. I thought about something as I took my shower.
Yeah.
And I am just going to say it. Y'all can tell me I'm wrong. Jim Schwartz is not acting properly.
Correct.
I get that his feelings are hurt, but business is business.
Is what I said.
And when you're doing business, you have to keep your emotions and feelings out of it.
That's a fact.
The real reason he feels some type of way is because he was too busy running his mouth to his friends, saying he got the job and now he feels embarrassed. Right? At the end of the day, you signed a contract. You didn't get the promotion you wanted. You should finish out what you signed. That concludes my TED Talk. There you go.
Thank you.
That was it. Then Jason jumped in. He agreed with him. Earl jumped in. He agreed with him. And then I obviously disagreed.
I thought Earl was coming
I thought Earl was coming down.
Oh, yeah. What happened to Earl?
Earl had to take the day off. Well, he's working from home.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, I vehemently disagree. You guys were just destroying Jim Schwartz.
No.
Not destroying.
I think we all just we have the same intentions, but I think it's part of it that you don't understand. I
understand.
I hate
disagree.
I hate the fact that he stormed out and acting childish about this. Like that part to me, it's like.
But you're saying it as if he was in the building when this happened, and then he threw everything down and ran out.
That's kind of what the report says.
Well, I don't know. It said that he packed up his stuff and left because he doesn't want to be part of the team anymore. I don't know that it's like storming off. I mean, you just
how else am I supposed to take that?
Go ahead. Finish.
I feel like you feel some type of way. Like to me, honestly, I look at it like, all right, if I wanted a promotion at a job, right?
Yeah. And
I went and asked for the promotion. I did the interview process and I didn't get it. All right. It is what it is. Like they got somebody else. All right, cool. Like, but I'm gonna still be here.
Why is that cool? If you felt like you earned that promotion. And
because I don't have a problem with looking myself in the mirror and say, you know what, I wasn't good enough for that job. Like I need to work harder. I have no problem saying that.
Okay.
That's why.
That's fine.
I don't know why people be mad about stuff like that. Oh, he overlooked.
So,
you just wasn't good enough for that. That's like me being mad at the NFL for cutting me 9 times. Like I just wasn't good enough. Like that is what it is.
Okay,
like, why is that so hard to say?
A couple of things. First of all, the best person doesn't always get the job. I'm not saying that wasn't the case here, but that in the history of the world, that happens probably more often than it doesn't, that the best person doesn't always get the job. I'm not saying that's the case here, but we've seen this clearly. Why do you think we have a Rooney Rule? We have a Rooney Rule because the best person doesn't always get the job.
This isn't a... Well, I mean...
this is not... This has nothing to do with it. I know this has nothing to do with it, but that's why we have that rule.
I agree with you.
Because it's not always a fair process.
For that, now, that's a race thing, though.
No, I understand. But I'm just showing the point. Like, people that have connections, again, it's not really, there's many examples of where guys get an unfair advantage for whatever reason. But it's not, no, I know it's not this case, but your example was, well, I didn't get a job here, and there's a lot of people who, just to say you should never be mad if you don't get a promotion.
No, I'm not saying don't be mad at it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it in a professional manner. I wouldn't, while I'm in the building, like, why would I do that?
But what did he do? Like, if he packed up his stuff and left.
He has made enough of a scene that it has become a story. That's what he's done. Regardless of what the actions were specifically, he has acted in a way that has made it a story.
Okay, I just... Here's the thing.
Like, you act like I'm mad at him for being mad. I'm not mad at him for being mad.
Right.
you're supposed to feel disappointed.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, like I'm still gonna be the DC here. I still got my guys. I'm gonna still work. I'm gonna still do what I'm supposed to do. And there will be job openings next year, 100%.
But here's the thing. He believed that he was getting the job. Okay,
that's his own fault.
Okay, but maybe
that's the problem, right there.
Maybe the Browns misled him.
Listen to me. I've been in situations where I thought for sure I was getting. Until I signed that paper, I ain't got nothing.
But Tyvis, here's the thing.
We can talk. We can shake hands and hug. Till you slap that paper in front of me and I signed it. It's irrelevant.
If I'm Jim Schwartz and I've done a great job at my job, and you promote someone above me who's never done the job.
Well, they didn't promote nobody.
Well, they did. They promoted somebody from outside the organization above you. When you've done a great job within the organization, to me, you have every right to be pissed. If I were him, I'd be pissed in that situation.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be mad.
Okay, so you don't like that he stormed off, which I don't.
That's very childish.
I don't agree with that, but fine. We'll agree to disagree. That's childish if he did storm off. So he has enough of a career, and I assume has enough money that he doesn't. If you feel like you've been wronged by the people you work for, if you have the option, then you shouldn't work for them. Most of us don't have that option in life, so we have to just take what they give us. Mm-hmm. That's the problem in society today. Too many of us just take whatever we can get because everything in society, everything in America is built for the top 1% to make all the money, and the rest of us fight for the crumbs on the table.
Does he enjoy coaching?
I assume he does.
So why would you? Why would you let the upstairs stop you from doing what you love?
Because
when you still got the opportunity to do what you love.
If you feel insulted by the people you work for, we hear players talk about all the time respect. He feels disrespected by the organization, and so he doesn't want to work for the organization anymore.
Bull.
He has the money to do it if he wants to step away, and I got no problem with that. If you say, well, he shouldn't have stormed off out of the building. If in fact he did that, okay, I'll listen to that argument. I don't care about it, but I understand where you're coming from on that. But ultimately, he doesn't owe the Browns anything.
And the Browns don't owe him?
And the Browns don't owe him anything. You're right.
Listen, I just look at it differently. Yeah. Like I say, that's like with me and San Fran, like getting promoted up and down to getting my first start in the NFL, doing everything exactly right like they want me to do, play a really good, solid game, and then the next week I get cut. Right. Not cut, like move down to practice squad, like cut, like go home, cut.
Yeah.
And it's like.
What happened? But you just said, but this is different.
But then they called me back the last 2 weeks. It was like, bring me back and we're going to put you back on active. And it's like. So it's like it's funny business up there, but like I'm not about to I'm mad at them for sure. Absolutely. Right. I can't stand them. Yeah. Can't stand them people upstairs.
Right.
But I do like my teammates and I do like my coaches. So like if I get the opportunity to continue to work with people that I enjoy being around, I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Well,
but I can't stand them though.
Yeah.
So I know what he feels. Trust me, I told you, I truly understand exactly how he feels.
He doesn't have to. Like you were in a situation where if you got an opportunity, you took the job.
Yeah.
But if you would have gotten
so let me tell you, I actually was. The funny thing about funny enough is I was actually on the plane, landed in Arizona because I had a workout with the Cardinals.
Right.
I had to while I'm getting deep boarding the plane.
Right.
The guy is texting me, hey, I'm outside waiting on you to pick me up.
Yeah.
My agent calls me and says, hey, the 49ers want to bring you back on active roster.
Right.
So I had to right then and there make the decision. Well, I going back to San Fran. I could have just went to Arizona.
Well, but you didn't know if Arizona was going to sign you.
Correct.
If you had,
back to Jim Schwartz. You don't know what is going to happen with Jim Schwartz.
But he's got enough money probably that it doesn't matter. It's a different story.
You do know people don't manage money properly.
I'm just assuming. I'm assuming.
I would assume that too, but we know what assumptions
But let me ask you this. If you had, let's say you had already had to work out with Arizona, and they had offered you a deal, but you hadn't signed the contract yet, and then San Francisco called you, what would you have done?
I would have went back to the Niners.
You would have. See, if I were you.
We're talking active roster versus practice squad.
No. Oh, I'm saying, what if the Cardinals had offered you active roster? Wouldn't you have taken the Cardinals because the Niners disrespected you?
Let me think about that.
Aha!
Depends on opportunity.
It does depend on opportunity.
Right. Arizona's a worse team. You might have had more of an opportunity.
That's true. Yeah, maybe. I would have had to sit back and think about that.
I'm just saying, like, and it's hard to compare any other career to this. I mean, yours is the closest, and even that's not the exact same thing because, he's been coaching for so long. I don't know. It's hard when you feel like there was a point when I first moved to Cleveland. I've said this before. I looked at Cleveland as a stepping stone to get back to New York.
Yeah.
Right? When I first moved here. Mm-hmm. And about 4 or 5 years in, they were making changes in New York when I had been here 4 or 5 years. And at that point, I still wanted to get back to New York. And they were making changes, and I had been given the impression that I was going to get a gig in New York. And in my mind, it was happening. I didn't say anything to anybody at the time, but outside of my family.
Did you sign the papers?
No, they never made me.
Did it what happened?
They never. Okay, but after that.
This is why people's feelings get hurt. Yeah, right there, because you think in your mind, I got it already.
Yeah.
Till you sign that paper, you got
and
nothing.
in my case, I was heavily insulted because the person that got it was not better than me. No chance they're better than me. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say who it is, but anyway, I didn't get it. Now, eventually, soon after that, I got to the point where I didn't want to leave here anymore, and I'm glad I've reached that.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So let's say in that situation, the guy that got the job, they gave it to somebody and you felt insulted.
Yeah.
But if they came back to you a month later and said, hey, it ain't working out, we want to give you X, Y, and Z, would you have taken the job?
I would have at the time.
All right, thank you very much.
Because I didn't have I don't have
so basically put another zero behind Jim Schwartz's check, he'll be back in the building.
I didn't have the money to say no. If I had the money to say no, I would have told him to stick it.
If any of us had the money to say no, we all just be vacating and going to different countries.
And if they came to me right now, I'd tell them to go F off.
If they put the right price in front of you, you still say that?
It would have to be.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed to hear.
I will admit, but here's the thing, Tyvis. Honestly, I will admit that if I got a Godfather offer, I would probably take it. It would have to be so big for me to go to New York at this point that there's no chance it would ever get offered.
You say that.
They'd have to offer me at least $1 million for me to go. I'm going to tell you right now.
People out here getting that.
Almost nobody in this business is getting $1 million.
You said almost. So somebody is.
I'm pretty sure there's only one guy in all of New York radio getting $1 million.
You could be number two if they believe that you are worth that, they will give it to you.
If they offered me double what I make in Cleveland, I would say no.
I did
double.
Basically, it's what the Athletic offered me.
They would have to offer me way more than that.
That's because you just lazy. Speaking of, y'all see what they did to the Washington Post?
Well, that's a disgrace. It's the whole industry.
Man,
it's a disgrace.
Cut all them people's jobs.
The whole media landscape is terrible right now. It's really.
Bull, do you feel better about after arguing that out?
Yeah, I don't know that we came to a solid conclusion.
Now, having said all that, if I'm the Browns, I still let him out.
Right.
And I'm on Tyvis' side on this. I do think that he's
being a
little bit of a baby about this. Like, you signed a contract to be a defensive coordinator of the Browns. Go be the defensive coordinator of the Browns. But if this is his attitude now, it's to the point where I've said if I'm Todd Monken, I don't want him on my staff.
No, I wouldn't. I would not at this point.
No, I agree with you.
I think the comments that Monken made the other day tell you all you need to
know. I was sitting there going,
after 6 years of Kevin Stefanski saying nothing, that was a nice noise right there.
I don't know if I can do that again.
I don't know if you want
please
to.
don't do that again.
Don't do that ever again.
I was like hitting Zach, like, did you hear that?
Yeah,
did you hear that?
We get something.
No.
Tyvis, would you let him go if you were around?
No, I absolutely would let him go. Because you got to, OTAs open up in March, right? Into March, like, you got to get some new guy in here. Like, it is what it is. Like, I would just promote, what's his name? Jason Tarver? Is that the linebackers coach?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would just promote him. He's done a great job with JOK, Carson Schwartz. He probably knows the defense probably really well.
Yeah.
Promote him.
All right.